Hi, I'm Dave Rutherford, and this is my partner Jay, and looks a little bit different now, doesn't he? What's with the...
Well, you know, it's a tribute to my political hero, Brad Wall, who himself has started growing a beard. So I thought, well, and it is Canadian winter, so we've got to stay warm.
Oh, that's the reason.
Yeah, well...
Okay, looks good, Jay.
Thanks.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife loves it. Okay, moving right along. We haven't done a show for quite a while.
No, we haven't. We're just getting into it.
One of the troubles is that we travel, and when we're apart in different countries, it's very difficult to do this, obviously, because we need to be in the same place at the same time. So we haven't had a whole lot of these shows. So today, we're going to talk about the continuing, and I'm seeing, boy, a lot more protest in Alberta about, obviously, the way Alberta is being treated in Confederation, by the way Alberta is being treated by the Trudeau government, of course, based around pipelines, and there's been a lot going on this winter so far, Jay. But this latest thing from Trudeau, $1.6 billion to help out people in the oil business. I don't think it's going to help, Jay.
I don't think it is, and it's incredible that it's been universally condemned by Westerners. I mean, it's the first time I can remember that a federal government has come up with a program of that amount of money to try and help an industry, and the industry says, nah, I don't think so. It's not going to help us. Because the fact of the matter is that it's for loans for companies to put them further in debt. It's for exploring new markets when we can't even satisfy the markets we already have because we can't get our product to market.
We don't need new markets. We know where they are. Yeah. They're right over there. We just can't get there. Yeah. You're right, Jay. This is kind of how the left does it, though. They're going to borrow their way out of debt until all the money's gone. And then conservatives get elected to fix everything. That's kind of how it's been going.
Well, thankfully for Trudeau, you know, he has said that budgets balance themselves.
Well,
not doing so well yet, but...
But you're right. This is actually an insult to Albertans, isn't it? I mean, it's an insult to the industry. Basically, they're saying, if you don't have enough money to operate because the market sucks and you can't get your oil to market, well, just borrow some more money and we'll backstop the loan. But they're not giving us any money. Not that we want them to give us money anyway.
No. Well, the answer isn't a handout. The answer is, as these rallies and protests across the West have been saying, the answer is build the pipe. It's pretty straightforward. We need pipelines to get our product to market.
Clearly that's it. And even, you know, Rachel Notley, the socialist of all time, the biggest socialist of all time, has said, you know, maybe we need the money from that oil. We should maybe get some more oil money in here. So even she is giving Trudeau a hard time. But we need leadership on the part of the Trudeau government, Jay.
Yeah, and we're not getting it.
He could have appealed that federal court of appeal decision that nixed the Trans Mountain expansion. He could have appealed it to the Supreme Court of Canada.
And he could have passed legislation, passed clear legislation through the House of Commons that said that line is in the national interest. Let's get it done.
It will go.
Yes.
I know he could have, but he didn't. He failed.
Yeah.
And now, then he went, of course, and spent $4.5 billion to buy the pipeline. Ridiculous decision.
And now he's actually even adding insult to injury, Dave.
Clearly.
Because in a recent year-end interview he said, and I quote, "I think there are politicians trying to exploit it," when he was asked specifically whether he thinks Western alienation is growing. In other words, blame the Western politicians for representing the people, representing their constituents, because they're trying to exploit what he has created, and he takes no responsibility for it.
But these are not just political leaders making statements about what's happening in the West. These are the people of Western Canada. The people of Alberta are in the streets, Jay. He should listen to that. This is not a manufactured political uprising.
No, exactly.
This is economic. Albertans have just had it. And the equalization thing that happened secretly by them to expand it for 5 more years, that just keeps grinding Alberta, into the ground.
Another $13 billion to Quebec this year. And, and let's be clear, these demonstrations and these rallies and these protests that we're seeing, Grand Prairie, over 600 oil field trucks show up. Nisku. Right, and your nephew's home stomping grounds.
My nephew Brad Rutherford is the UCP candidate in Leduc Beaumont. That's the heart of where the big truck thing was.
2,000 trucks.
How can you ignore this? How can he sit back in Ottawa? Well, I know how he does it.
Yeah.
I know how he does it. he sits around with the Power Corp people, the Demarays, and they sit around and they have their drinks. And
Gerald Butt says, don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, that's right. Everything's okay here in Eliteville.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on the ground, and that's what we're seeing in Alberta, Jay. I know you've written about this idea of Western separation. I know we're getting all over the map here, but we're catching up. The whole Western separation thing does... I don't think Albertans want to separate, but that seems to be the only alternative that's left.
Confederation isn't working for the West.
It is.
We can very soon. But what can we do? What are we suggesting to Trudeau? Well, I think a number of things. Scrap Bill C-69.
Take out 69.
Scrap Bill C-48, the tanker ban on the West Coast. When we continue to, why not have the tanker ban on the East Coast where Saudi Arabia and Venezuelan oil is coming in? Have that
it's
instead
actually
of on
coming
the West
in.
Coast. Yeah, exactly.
But that comes up the Seaway, the same area they're dumping effluent into out of Quebec.
Yeah.
With federal government approval. The whole thing is so hypocritical.
And scrap the carbon tax that's going to come into effect here in... What, a couple of weeks' time, according to Trudeau? Yeah. I mean, these are demonstrable things that Trudeau could do, that his government could do. They've got a majority. If he truly believes in the oil and gas industry, these are things that they could do to alleviate many of the problems that the industry is facing, and they could do it tomorrow.
But they don't care.
No.
Jay, they don't care. I mean, if it was Bombardier, that's a whole nother thing. They would support Bombardier
auto industry.
Auto industry, but Western Canadians, especially Albertans, I know people watching this in Eastern Canada or Central Canada will say, stop whining out there in Alberta. You had it good for so long. This is a fundamental, as you suggested, a fundamental failure of this union.
Exactly.
And I know it's from our perspective.
And it's got to change, folks. It's got to change.
All right. And we have a chance to do that in October of 2019, the federal election, Alberta's election coming up probably the end of May, so we can get rid of the socialists in Alberta, and that'll be the beginning of a transformation back to
common sense.
Sanity, common sense. Jay, thanks. I'm Dave Rutherford. Jay.
Hit subscribe.
What shall I call you? You got to get a nickname for that.
I don't know. I shudder to think what you'll come up with.
Yeah. I'm thinking right now.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Thanks, everybody, for being with us.